We're here today to announce federal criminal charges against 9 defendants who worked with partners in China to operate a criminal network that illegally smuggled what we estimate to be more than $200 million worth of counterfeit goods from China into the United States through the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. The 9 defendants charged in the indictment participated in a wide-ranging scheme to circumvent inspections at the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. The scheme involved logistics companies, warehouse owners, and corrupt truckers. They worked as criminal partners to defy U.S. customs laws, to illegally smuggle enormous quantities of goods from China into the United States. 8 of the 9 defendants have been arrested. One defendant, the lead defendant, who orchestrated the scheme, is a fugitive and is believed to be in China. Let me talk to you about how the scheme worked. As part of the scheme, the defendants and their criminal partners in China filled shipping containers with contraband, counterfeit goods, illegal and dangerous chemicals, and other contraband that is not permitted to be imported into the United States. U.S. law requires that all containers coming into the United States be sealed with a locked security seal that is assigned a unique number. This is a security system. Containers, from the time they leave China, cannot be opened until they arrive in the United States and clear the Customs and Border Patrol inspection process. And the seals are key to that security process. Members of this scheme in the United States and China evaded this security system by learning in advance the unique serial numbers assigned to these seals that would be associated with their illegal shipments. And they created duplicate fake seals in order to circumvent the inspection process. They would create those duplicate fake seals in China, and they would send them from China to their criminal partners here in the United States. When the shipments arrived at the port here in Long Beach and Los Angeles, U.S. Customs and Border Protection would direct, as part of their normal process, that some of those containers go to secondary inspection. Those secondary inspection sites are a short distance from the port. Instead of taking the containers from the port to those secondary inspection sites, members of the scheme, including the corrupt truck drivers, would instead take the contraband shipments to off-site warehouses. At those warehouses, according to the indictment, members of the conspiracy would open up and cut those seals, take out the contraband contained in those shipping containers, and ultimately put a new counterfeit seal on the containers and then pass them to CBP for inspection. Members of the scheme would then have the containers, now smuggled with the illegal goods, inspected by CBP, and they presented them just like they had come straight from the port complex. The truck drivers involved in the scheme were often paid 10 times the normal rate, and sometimes much more, to illegally transport the containers to a warehouse before inspection. During the investigation, law enforcement identified that Chinese co-conspirators were sending these seals into the United States, these counterfeit seals, and they were able to intercept around 50 counterfeit seals. Law enforcement then linked those counterfeit seals to inbound shipments, intercepted those shipments, and removed the contraband inside. Items of contraband include chemicals, such as R-22, tens of millions of dollars in counterfeit merchandise, unapproved food and other types of drugs that pose consumer risk. During this investigation into this smuggling, federal authorities seized roughly $130 million worth of contraband. And we conservatively estimate that the defendants who are charged here and their criminal partners in China smuggled more than $200 million worth of goods into the United States. We have charged the defendants here with serious federal crimes. That includes smuggling, taking off using counterfeit seals, and conspiracy. If convicted, they face substantial federal prison sentences. The 7 smuggling charges contain a penalty of up to 20 years in federal prison.